Hi, my name is John McAllister, and I am the host of the Setting Trick podcast. Today, I am excited to share my conversation with professional bridge player Jack Zhao. Jack and I became friends sort of by accident. I was supposed to be playing a regional tournament with another friend who had to cancel at the last minute. And so I reached out to Eldad Ginosar to see if Eldad could play. And while he was not available, he said that his partner, his then partner, Jack Zhao, was. And so Jack and I spent a week together in Florida and we had a great time. We became fast friends. We have our inside jokes. And one of my favorite things is just his sense of humor. And he has this way of laughing where it's like his face is going to explode. He's laughing so hard. And while unfortunately you're not going to be able to see that because this is an audio program, I think Jack's spirit and good humor shines through in this episode. Today, I was watching a film called It Might Get Loud that features three guitarists, The Edge, Jimmy Page, and Jack White. And The Edge is they're doing a thing where they're back in Ireland with The Edge. And The Edge says that he was watching this show called The Top of the Pops, and this band came on, The Jam, and it just changed everything. And it makes me think about Jack and how Jack learned bridge because this one teacher suggested it. And maybe you could argue he was on track for that anyway. But really, this one teacher, as we're going to hear about very early in this episode, wasn't even a real bridge player. They just kind of knew it. And when you look at the life that Jack has led, how much it's been enriched by bridge, I think it's an amazing selling point for the game.
It was like 100 years ago, but it was back in 1986, basically.
And where were you? What happened?
Well, actually, bridge, they restarted bridge in China in 1980 when China reopened its market to the rest of the world. As a matter of fact, I just recorded a video message to the Chinese Bridge League last month in May for their 40th anniversary or 40th birthday of the CCBA. So, in the 80s, when in China, there were not so many entertainments and not many sports. The whole country is restarting basically from the so-called Cultural Revolution. And the whole country was a mess. During those 10 years, and basically the whole country was recovering from that, and we were, not only bridge, but also the Chinese game Go was very popular, and many other mind sports, so-called. So, in my high school, I still remember I had a teacher. He was teaching chemistry in my high school. And once he gave a sort of after-class lecture about bridge, and I listened, and immediately I was attracted. But also in China was much easier because we have other card games that are very similar to bridge. Okay, there's no bidding. However, the play of the cards and some principles are very similar. Okay, I would describe it like the old West, the old English game. basically. So it was very easy to learn bridge, except the bidding itself or any system. But it was very easy. It was like I learned the game in about, I would think, an hour or so. Because the play of the cards, I was already familiar with the play of the cards.
Mm. And why did your chemistry teacher, like, was it in class? Was it after school?
After class, after school, I must say, because, this is like after school entertainment club. We have groups of girls, play instruments or singers. We have lots of different groups. And he tried to establish a group of bridge, which was, totally unheard for us, what bridge was. But I remember in the class there were like 30, 40 students, but at the end only 3 or 4 of them decided to stay. That's how we went.
Are you still in touch with this teacher?
No, sorry, no. It's been too long,
So does he have any idea of the heights you've reached in the bridge world?
He's not even an mature player, to be honest. He just knew a little bit theory of bridge, basic bridge. So he tried to bring this idea to his students, try to establish some kind of new interest among his students, sort of.
And you liked it immediately?
Yes, because it was very similar, or I was very familiar with the card play, that part.
What's the other game, the Chinese game that the card play is similar to?
We have one game that is, we call it Take the Peek, but the play itself is very similar to the Western game Hearts.
Sure.
Okay, the Black Lady.
Yeah.
And the Hearts. In China, we have additional things, like we have the Jack of Diamonds as because the Black Lady is a minus, but the Jack of Diamonds is a plus.
Right.
If you collect all hearts, it's a plus. But if you collect, some of it, then it's a minus. And we have the 10 of clubs as a doubling machine. If you have a plus score and you have the 10 of clubs, then it will double or, triple even sometimes your plus. But if you have it, most of the time, you will have it with your minus, right? Along with your hearts or the Black Lady. Right. Then it will double or triple your minus. Okay? So, you have to, because bridge, you win your trick with the high card, but in that game, you try to avoid it, but by playing low, right?
Yeah.
And try to avoid those minus cards. Yeah. And that's one of them. And however, you can play that game individually, but you can also play it with the partnership. That is, you play with the guy opposite of you. You are partners against the other pair. Yeah. Okay, and you compare who takes the most plus or minus. That requires some cooperation as well. For example, and you can double your Black Lady, for example. The Black Lady itself started with minus 100. And if you double it, then it's minus 200. So your partner will try to play his shortness, and you will, when you get in, you will try to play the lowest card in your partner's shortness so he can throw the Black Lady. So you can, in that case, you give the minus, he can discard the Black Lady on that. And then that card will go to the opponent. And, you can also double your Jack of Diamonds, then it becomes double because, there were some cheating as well. For example, when I make like this, I have the Jack of Diamonds. Immediately, you have to show if you have the Ace of Diamonds or not. Because if you have the Ace of Diamonds, then your partner will show it to the rest of the table. Then you double the plus, and then when you get in, you play the ace of diamonds, and you get the double plus. But I was just kidding, We were playing honestly, but in some of the parts when they play, in China, sometimes they play for money,
Yeah, sure.
Then, because we were playing for fun.
Yeah.
Among the students, but some part they might play for money. Then there were a lot of kind of signals, and we also have a other game that we call it the tractors. That is also played with one deck of cards and partnerships, and you try to make the trumps the most cards in the combination. Okay, in your partnership, the most with as trumps.
Right.
And but the score is like kings, tens, and fives, and you try to grab those cards as your final score in a way. So there were some those kind of games that were very similar to the play of the game, and especially in that tractor game, we have the concept of trumps as well. So that's how I started.
And then it said you didn't really take up. It says you didn't really take it up seriously until you got to the Netherlands.
Right. Well, I was not bad. I was playing with my classmates, and I represented the junior team of my city in China back in 1990, and I ended up fourth. For a newcomer, it wasn't bad. I still remember, you're fearless, so you just beat. I remember in one hand, I beat 6 cards, and the first I finished the king of trumps. It was on. And then I had no discards available, but I had king third of diamonds opposite jack 1.
Yeah.
No 10, no 9, no intermediates. So basically you have to play for the ace of diamonds on side, but I draw trumps, and our opponents already feeling depressed because the king of trumps was on. And immediately I called the jack of diamonds, and my right hand opponent played small. I thought for a while, I decided to go with the original percentage, original odds. So I went up the king. Wrong I was. The queen was onside and he didn't cover. I was kicking myself after the game. I didn't know, what was right, what was wrong. For me at the time, beating a slam is always 50%. Either it makes or it doesn't. It was like that. That was my bridge. And their points are for children. Vulnerability, never heard of it. Just bid whenever I have cards. I just bid.
So that was a Chinese finesse that you didn't take.
No. That's why I was ashamed of being a Chinese. I didn't take it. It was on though. It would have worked.
Yeah.
Then, that was back in 1990. And then 1991, I went to Europe, end of 1991, around Christmas. I went to Europe. I first landed in Cyprus. And I played a little bit bridge there, but, the bridge standard is very low there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still remember November 1995, I went to the Netherlands, and that's how I started my bridge, because I was lucky to land in Rotterdam. And in Rotterdam, there was a newly established bridge club called the Lombard. And all the members were fairly young. And it was a new club, and we all started, basically all together. And we were learning all together. And, among those guys were the late famous Simon Device, Rico van Prooij. And even bus driver was a little kid at the time. So he joined the Lombard years after I left the Netherlands at the time. But, at the same time, it was like, it was Simon de Vries and Rico van Prooij. These guys, I think you know them.
Yeah, sure.
So that's, how I started.
And when did you get your hands on your first bridge book?
Oh, that was like in the late 80s in China. And at the time, I still remember, well, talking about bridge books, I read a lot when I was in the Netherlands, because in the Bridge Club Lombard, there was a sort of bridge library that the owner, who became my partner at some time, he had a collection of a lot of bridge books. I was reading like 3 or 4 books a day. And I read it all, thousands of them.
Wow.
But back in China, when I first started learning bridge, because first of all, I did not know English at all. So you have to translate it first into Chinese and publish it. So I was looking all over in bookstores and, for bridge books, but there were not so many. I remember there was a set of bridge books, the bridge basic techniques from a Scottish guy, Kelsey. I read all his books, but to be honest, I'm not saying I did not like them, but those techniques I already knew from other Chinese card games. However, for me, the Bridge Bible was 2 books. One of them being Better Bidding with Bergen, because that was the only bridge book about biddings in China back then. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the book was called Better Bridge with Bergen. I'm not sure. But it was translated and published in China. And I was, it was a very big book. It was like this much and this thick, about 1.5 inch thick, that book. And I was carrying it everywhere.
Wow.
And at the end, I couldn't have it no more because the book was totally, And about bridge play, I read 2 books. One of them was Bridge Adventure from Ostuk, and that book was, I don't think I can still follow up the place of that book. That was too difficult. The most helpful book was a bridge book from Terence Rees. The English name being Over My Shoulders.
Yeah.
So you as a keeper, you go, your sight will go on his shoulders, and you read, his mind. In China, we translated into, we made the name like, reading the expert's mind or whatever. But that book was for me, that was the most helpful book. I loved it. I was reading it times and times. Although I also like the famous Blue Team book from Fouquet. However, with my bridge standard back then, I did not really understand, some of the plays. Why? What was why he did that? And what was the logic behind it? I was reading it, but it wasn't helpful to me because it was way beyond my standard. But the book Over My Shoulders, that was the book I loved the most. That's about card play, and bidding wise, I knew nothing but Better Bidding with Bergen. That was basically the only bidding book I read.
Have you ever told that to Marty Bergen?
No.
Wow.
That book was like a bridge Bible for me. That was back in, I think it was 1989 or 1990. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it was published. I met Bergen here several times because he lives here in Florida, in my neighborhood. I met him several times in the regionals.
Mm.
I didn't get a chance to tell him that book was my bridge Bible at the time, 30 years ago.
Wow. So what took you to the Netherlands?
Well, actually, I was living in Cyprus, and I had a friend back then, a girl, not girlfriend, but just a friend, normal friend.
Yeah.
She later moved to the Netherlands, and she was working for a Chinese offshore company, and that company sent me an invitational letter. So I got a tourist visa. However, before I went to the Netherlands, I had a chance to meet Hugh Burtons at the time. He was leading a bridge tour, tourist group, having holidays in Cyprus. But I just knew him, so I thought, okay, I got my tourist visa through this Chinese company. So I went to the Netherlands, and that company was located in Rotterdam. That's why I went to Rotterdam. And as soon as I arrived in Rotterdam, I remember I met this guy, Hugh Burtons, and he left me his telephone number. So I called him, and I went to visit him in Tilburg for 2 days. And later I went back to Rotterdam and joined the bridge club, the Lombard.
So he was instrumental in getting you to join the Lombard Bridge Club?
No. I did it myself. He was living in Tilburg. I was in Rotterdam. So, I mean, I was looking for a bridge club all over.
Yeah.
And, my Chinese friends in Rotterdam also helped me, to ask around. And they gave me an address. So I took not the bus, but the tram. In the Netherlands, we have the tram, the electronic one. I took that and I went to the Lombard. That's it.
Do you remember who you played with that first time?
In the Lombard, I remember I was playing with. I was playing with a guy from Horken, a young player, a few years older than me, not a top player. His name is Rob Streckhorst. And the very first table, I still remember, my opponents were Rob Donksloot and Camille, who moved to France. Camille and Rob Donksloot, I don't know if you know him, but I'm sure when you see him, you will know him because he goes to every Bermuda Bowl as a loyal kibitzer.
Wow.
He watches every Bermuda Bowl. He's and these two guys, the very first table, these two guys were playing like they never think. They play every card within a split second, and we were killed in 3 boards. We finished 3 boards in less than 8 or 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. And I was looking at these 3 boards. I said, if I can get any match points out of these 3 boards, I'll be happy. That's how I started. And then later on, I had the great honor to play with the famous Dutch guy, Hans Krijns, an old world champion. He was the World Open Pairs champion back in 1966, before I was born. And his partner back then was the famous Bob Slavenberg. You might have heard of that name.
No.
Okay, anyways, he was a world champion in 1966, World Pairs. And I had a great honor playing with him. He played no system. No system. I remember the first, because in the Netherlands, when you play the division matches, sometimes you can have substitute. It's not like here you play, over a few days. No, they play during the weekends. And they set up matches from one club against another. And I did not know about it. And I was, because Hans Klein's partner was I think he had something to do that weekend. So I was called to play with Hans for one match. And I said, okay, what system we play? He said, natural. What system? One club opening 4 cards. One diamond, 4 cards. One heart opening 4 cards.
Whoa.
Oh, the old Echo style, all 4 cards. Carding wise, high, low, even. I said, do you play Roman key card? What Roman key card? There are only 4 aces in one deck. If I'm missing the king of trumps, I can finesse it, but I cannot finesse an ace. I said, okay. Then the very first match, our teammates were Simon and Rico. I was playing with Hans Kreis, I remember. Then Hans opened 2 no trumps. I had ace, king, 10, 9, 5 diamonds, and the king third of something, 10 count. So I decided to overbid this hand by bidding 4 no trumps, quantitative. Of course, Hans fully understood what I meant, so he answered his aces. Then, then I had to beat the 6 no trumps. And we made it. And then a few boards later, it went 1 heart on my right. I remember who our opponents were. My right hand was a guy called Martin Schapper. He's now living in Luxembourg. So he opened 1 heart. I passed. It went 2 hearts on my left. Hans passed. The guy Martin beat 3 diamonds, and my lefty beat 4 hearts. So I naturally led a small diamond from my A3rd. I led a small diamond, and obviously dummy had king jack, and he called the jack, and Hans won his queen, and that was the only need to beat it. Hans was, giving me a big applause. He doesn't, he was a very sweet old man, very sweet. I still miss him. He died, some years ago. He was one of the sweetest thing, always smile. That atmosphere in the Netherlands helped me to promote my game, because I still remember I was playing with Barry Westra, Henry Lofkens. I was a poor student. I could not afford to pay anything. Sometimes they even helped me to cover my expenses. But they were trying, they were playing with me as well. They were trying to teach me about, the right bridge. We were, this group of youngsters, Simon, Rico, we were hanging out all the time together. We were learning together. We helped each other, That was one of the best times in my memory.
Yeah, it said. So we've got this intern Michael Zhu, and he does some research on each of our guests, and it said that Barry Westra was a big influence on you.
Yes. He not only I was able to partner him for quite a while, but also I learned a lot of things. He's my lifetime hero. I can say that.
Wow.
I mean, after I went back to China, I joined the Chinese national team. I had my trainings. I also learned a lot from those trainings as well. I kind of established my international experiences by representing China in the world. However, Barry was a big influence on me, and he's my lifetime hero for sure.
Why is he your lifetime hero?
Well, I was playing with him. And no matter what I did, if it was like he always tried to listen to my thoughts. If things went wrong, the first thing was, hey, what were you thinking of? I told him, hey, I was thinking this and that, obviously I was wrong. He said, no, you have a point there. Okay.
Wow.
And he was trying to help me. And then if it was really stupid, that had no point, like even he could not find one, he will say, hey, who cares? Nobody's perfect.
Wow.
This time is your turn, next time might be my turn. He had, a great attitude towards his partners. I don't know about the rest of his partners, but at least to me, it was a great attitude, and that helped me to build up my confidence.
Yeah, I mean that's something that just hearing you say that, I want to incorporate that into my own game.
Well, that's something that we all have to learn.
It sounds like from at the time you got to the Netherlands that you're already a pretty good player.
I was good in card play because all Chinese are. We have similar other games. And as I grew up, when you play those games, you don't play carefully, you lose money from time to time. So, but bidding wise, I was like a pure blank paper. I only knew the basic theories of, Chinese precision or American yellow card. I knew nothing about bidding theories. And I did not have any bidding skill. I was like an unstoppable train, just running forward. That's it. I learned a lot of bidding. If you call card, because I strongly believe this bridge as a game, bidding takes bigger part of it, more percentage than playing technique for sure. And if we all call, because bridge in Chinese, there are two words, okay? Qiao, pai, two words. Qiao being bridge, like the communication, Pai means cards. I think I strongly believe the Chinese word for bridge is more accurate for the game, because the word behind it, pai, that's the technique of the game, and qiao being the communication. And qiao, the communication, comes first. That describes this game. Okay, and to be honest, I had no idea of those kind of skills. I learned a lot. So if you say I was a pretty good player back then, but I dare say I would think that was only 10 to 15% of my game now, because I only knew how to play my cards. That's it. Didn't know how to bid. Didn't know how to handle certain difficult situations. No, for sure not.
So did you immediately strike up a friendship with Simon and Rico and those guys, or?
Simon, yes. Simon. Because Rico was not, he did not live in Rotterdam. He lived in the neighborhood, because Netherlands is a very small country. So Simon was, we hang out a lot together. I remember we watched the film Titanic together. And I slept on his couch with his cat from time to time. It was like, it's totally the same like your gangs here in the United States, that you hang out together. Sometimes he doesn't eat meat. He's a vegetarian. So despite our different eating habits, we still hang out together a lot.
Yeah, he's a friendly guy. I mean, Simon is
Very friendly, very
yeah.
friendly.
I'd like to be able to beat him in chess one day.
I strongly doubt about it because when the writer who wrote his system, the Tasang Precision, Rob Hiller, he was looking for players in the Netherlands to play his system. Nobody wanted because it was too complicated. So he had to look for bridge pupils from a chess group. And he picked up Rico and Simon. And those two, they were taking chess as a Dutch junior team. So he was kind of semi-professional. Unless you are very well trained, I don't think you have a chance against him.
He said,
you learn or you did not, that's different. That's totally different.
no, I mean, we talked about this at the World Bridge Series in 2018, and he said, I told him my rating at the time. I forget what it was. It was probably like 1100 or something, just on the chess.com website. And he said, well, 10 years you can beat me, because he's like 1700 or something.
But he was, I mean, in the early 90s, he was in the Dutch junior team or Dutch whatever team. There were a group of youngsters that they were learning chess and very well trained. Then he switched to bridge with Rico Van Proy.
So what were you doing in the Netherlands? You were a student?
At the beginning, yes, I was a student, but I'm ashamed to say that I was accepted in the big famous university, Erasmus University, for my MBA. And as you know, I was playing bridge a lot. Obviously, I did not graduate. The professor would not allow me to attend the exams because he's never seen me in his classes. So, you know, I paid my tuition fees. It was not so expensive, but still, I did not finish it. And then afterwards, I was working for I was working as the so-called GDPer, you know, EDPer, I'm sorry, electronic data processor. I was working, you know, I was taking care. I was in touch with Windows 95, Windows NT, you know, back then. And I worked a few years in the neighborhood of Rotterdam. And then it was called the Fix Group, a Belgian company. But then later that company was sold to, I think it was an American company. And then they cut some of the departments. So I lost my work, I lost my job. And in 2000, December 2000, I represented the Netherlands in China playing an invitational tournament. It was sponsored by Marlboro back then. You know, tobacco was allowed to sponsor bridge tournaments back then. They was so-called the China Cup. After that tournament, I stayed. That was it. I went back to China. End of the millennium year.
Was that your intention, or did it just happen that way?
Half. I was not 100% sure, but once I went back to China, I was sure because I immediately built up a partnership with Fu, and I signed up some working contract because I was workless in the Netherlands.
Mm.
So I immediately signed up a working contract with Fu's company, basically. I mean, not his company. I mean, the company he was working for.
Mm.
The bridge club he was working for in Beijing. So I said, okay, if there's work here, why not?
And how did you and Fu know each other?
We met in the Netherlands. So he was representing China, and they came to the Netherlands to play some international tournaments. And obviously, I had to practice my Chinese from time to time. So we ended up having some beers and talking to him, you know.
Yeah. So when you got the job at his club? Like, how did that happen?
Well, it's the same like nowadays, but this, we were in China. It's always like this. You are on the payroll for salaries, on the monthly salaries. In the year I started in 2001, and as you know, it's not as much as nowadays, but it was like equivalent of $500 a month. But still, it was, you don't have to come to work, but you do have to come for the training, and you represent the bridge club in the national events, like 5-6 times a year. Our expenses were covered as well, so that salary was like pure income. And if you grab the title, and you have bonus as well. So it did not look much, but was quite handsome money for me at the time. The first year, I think we played 5 nationals together, and we got 2 golds and 1 silver in 5 nationals. So that quickly established our partnership in China. That's how I started with Fu in 2001. Then in 2003, we were selected for a Chinese team, and that's how we started representing China worldwide. 2003, for the first time, we represented China, played the Bermuda Bowl in Monte Carlo. We were eliminated from the Bermuda Bowl. We did not end up in the quarterfinal. So we went to play the transnationals. This time we ended up in the final. We were runner-up. So that was some sort of success as well. We beat Zia in the quarterfinal, I think, and we beat I think semifinal we beat Hampson's team, and the final team we lost to Lavasa, the famous Buratti, Lanzarote. You know the names, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we lost to them. Well, no, it was chanceless, the final.
This is a Chinese team. Is this the club from Beijing?
No, the Chinese team. The Chinese team. But we were 3 pairs going to Monte Carlo playing the Bermuda Bowl, but when we played the transnationals, only 2 pairs played. So we played throughout, 4-handed, basically.
And what was that like, kept finishing second in a world championship?
Well, it was transnational teams. It was not as big as the Bermuda Bowl.
Yeah.
Still, it was something, but then we did not get the chance to celebrate it because, you remember this famous incident in the Bermuda Bowl final? The Italians were fighting with the Americans, and because Versace was very excited going into the last board, he went to compare his scores, and the laureate took a wrong card from the dummy. So he went 2 down instead of 1 down, and Americans won the final by 1 imp. Well, you can Google that incident.
No, I know of it. I do know of it. I mean, I don't know the details, but I have heard of it.
Yeah, but that was back in 2003, and everybody was paying attention to that incident, and nobody cares. We were the first time runner-up, Who cares about the transnationals?
So that was your first time playing in the Bermuda Bowl? Yeah. And where did you finish in the round robin?
I wouldn't know. Not in the top 8 for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a chance throughout, but we had a, actually, with 1 day to go, many players predicted that we would go through because we had sort of easy last day.
Yeah.
Our three opponents were relatively easier than the other competitors.
Yeah, you're making air quotes for the listeners, by the way.
Well, yeah, okay, but yeah, I mean, in the Bermuda Bowl, there's no easy. You can't say call it easy,
Right.
I'm just saying. So I remember the very first match, the last day, we were playing a team Uruguay, and they were nowheres, and they had no intention at all. They had no more interest. The very first match. And you know how it went?
Blitz.
We won 25-2 the other way. It was 25 victory points back then. It was 25-2. But unfortunately, 25 to them, to us. So immediately we were gone. That match, everybody was expecting like we would have won more than 20, But no, we lost 25-2. That was it. That was I must say, painful experience. It was very painful. That after, in Bermuda Bowl, you play 3 matches a day, and you play 1 match in the morning, and then lunch, and then 2 matches in the afternoon, right? And you know what? After that match, both me and Fu, we did not have breakfast, and we could not eat for lunch.
Wow.
We stepped out. We were walking round. I don't remember how many rounds we walked. I mean, I just remember, I think the whole lunch break, we were walking in different places though. He was walking, there, around. I was walking here, round. I never stopped walking around that day. But, that was my first excitement from the World Championship.
Excitement, what do you mean?
Well, my first time experience from, playing being able to participate in the Bermuda Bowl was my dream, but I would think it was a dream for all the youngsters that we were learning bridge together, right, back in China. That's a dream for all the bridge players. The Bermuda Bowl is unique.
Yeah.
Comparing to other world championships. You're representing your country, and there's not only your own bridge level, but also national pride are on your shoulders as well, sort of. You feel that way.
So if you could win any tournament, would that be it?
What?
If you could win any event, would the Bermuda Bowl be it?
Yeah. Well, so far I've won 2 world titles, but both in pairs. Never won any team event yet. Hopefully, well, I'm already 50 years old, and hopefully I will be able to join a good team in the future and win one of the team events.
Are you still eligible to play Bermuda Bowl for China?
No. Well, it's just because they have the national team. They have too many trainings, and I can't join. I live here in the States nowadays, so I can't join their training camp. That's the problem. You see, they cannot make me unique from the others, right? No exceptions. Everybody has to join the training, and everybody has to devote their times for the country. So I just can't do it, because I have to play tournaments, nationals in China, and I have my family here. So that being impossible.
What was the coronavirus like in Tianjin?
Basically nothing. It was like a few hundred infections and 3 deaths.
Wow.
In China, it was not, that serious. Only in the city of Wuhan. The rest of China were quite, normal, I would say. Not that many.
And is that because I heard that they closed, like they shut down Wuhan, like they wouldn't let people?
But not many people. But not at least in Tianjin, not many infections. And from what I heard, 3 to 4 deaths. That's it.
Wow.
But that's this is a tragedy, to our human society, and I think this is very influential to our game as well. This bridge, because first of all, most of the bridge players are traveling all the time, and we have to play very closely. But now, since we have to, if this virus stays in the human society, then we have to keep the public distance, right? Then this is bad for bridge game, for the game of bridge for sure, 100%. That is why I've been doing some. I think maybe internet bridge might be a new fashionable thing in the future, and that's well, I'm still thinking of several ideas, and I'm working on some of them with some guys in China right now. Internet bridge.
Anything you want to share with
Well,
your
actually,
listeners?
Actually, what I'm trying to establish is, first of all, I have an idea, because as I just told you, that the most influential book to me was the Over My Shoulders.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we should set up a program, like live broadcast or video clips or whatever, like Over My Shoulders. It's like a video book. So you know when you commentate a bridge game, then all 4 people are all 4 hands are being watched. That's not good, because bridge is different from other games. Other games like chess, you see all the entire thing, but you still don't know how it goes.
Right.
But in bridge, it's different. Once you see all 4 hands, you can beat anybody in this planet, right? So bridge cannot, humans, the AI cannot beat human in the game of bridge. It's not because bridge is so high IQ or high technology. That's not true. It's because bridge is so low. It does not require a lot of calculations. So basically, bridge is not a game of calculating. This is a game of judgments. Based on your own logic, you have to make your own judgments, and you do not always make the right judgments, right? That is the difference between bridge and any other mind sports games. So what I'm thinking is, if there is a video lecture or video class, like the old book Over My Shoulders, you don't see all 4 hands, but you see only 1 hand. And this guy will, explain while he's playing. He will explain at the same time why he does this, why he does that.
Yeah.
Then we can see into his thoughts. We can see into his mind.
Yeah.
Follow his thoughts. So I think this is perhaps a better way of lecturing.
On the hand where you underled your ace third of diamonds with the 1966 World Pairs champions, did he have queen and 1?
When? No. The hand I underled my ace of diamonds was back in 1996, yes. But it was not World Championship. It was a club championship in the Netherlands.
No, I know, but did he have queen and 1? So did it go queen ace rough? Is that what happened?
No. He had queen third. There was no rough available. However, if I don't leave that, then the declarer would do it right, and because he has pitches, enough timing. I must establish diamonds before he pitches them.
Gotcha.
He was, when he won the queen of diamond, I could see some disbelief in his face. He was shocked. But he quickly recovered, And he remembered to return diamond to my ace, so we went in the first 2 tricks. I can. It was like 24 years ago, and I swear, if I close my eyes now, I could still see his face. But that was a fun story.
Yeah, that's the best when you underlead and they and King Jack shows up in the dummy.
Yeah. Well, nobody believed it, especially a newcomer, a stranger, a strange Chinese against 4 hearts. He had never heard of this guy. Who is this guy?
Oh man.
Oh
man. That's how you got your reputation.
Well, could be, but I was a newcomer to the Netherlands bridge world at the time.
Do you have any nicknames that you go by, like that your Chinese friends call you, like as a bridge player or anything like that?
No, they just call me Jack.
Yeah.
No other nickname.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in the Netherlands, there was some time they called me a Chinese magician, but that was long ago. That was long ago. I was playing. I telling you the truth. I was playing my cards really well, but beating wise or handling the entire situation wise, I was very poor. If you make it a better word, maybe inexperienced.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really poor. So that, however, that takes bigger part in this game. So I dare say I was perhaps better than a beginner, that I could play my cards. But as for an expert, no, definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I still appreciate my Dutch friends, that they helped me a lot. They taught me a lot. I learned from them a lot. That's how I established my bridge career.
You must have been open to learning then. I mean, you must have had the right attitude.
Yes. Well, I was a student to everyone, basically, And some guy who has this treatment in certain area, I find it interesting, and I would say, hey, does it make a good combination with the system that I'm playing currently? If it works, I think it works. I would grab it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I will learn it. I use it, and then if I feel I'm not comfortable with it, then I will try something else. But I learned a lot, I must say. And playing cards is not big part of the game. No, that's only for beginners. Seriously. I mean, playing here in the United States in the club games, you just have to grab your tricks and you win.
Yeah.
But if you play in the tournaments, then a lot of things you have to handle. That, I must say that I learned a lot from the Netherlands, and as well, the time that I was representing China internationally, then I had a lot of international experience as well.
It reminds me of when you and I played together. You sent me your system notes afterwards, which was very generous of you. And I felt like, I mean, you made a point of saying, that we're brothers and that we teach you, that you were taking me under your wing.
I must say, this is the way I learned from the Netherlands. Remember, when I was living in the Netherlands, the top players were open to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, took back their words. They refused to teach me anything. No, they were open to me. I learned a lot from them. And now it's like I received this gift and I don't mind passing it forward. It's like this.
One of the exercises that you gave me was that you told me that I should be able to memorize my entire hand in 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if you watched the Steve show here in the States. the black man, the black host. He sometimes interviewed.
Oh, Steve Harvey.
Yeah, Steve Harvey. Yes.
Yeah.
In his show, there was a Chinese girl who could memorize a full deck of cards. You can Google that show.
Yeah.
In about less than a minute, I think. Full deck of cards, 52 cards. Here, you only have 13, and you can sort them.
Right.
I mean, I think back in my university time, I was doing it like my best record was 7-8 seconds, but not anymore nowadays. But it's, if you Google that show, there must be some video clip on the internet. A Chinese girl who can memorize a full deck of cards. I don't remember what was her time. Okay, she could remember full deck of 52 cards. It's not so difficult, I think.
So I played a regional with Michael Rosenberg several years ago. Actually, I played with David Granger, and Michael Rosenberg, I hired him for one day to kibitz me.
Who? Michael Rosenberger?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, to like take notes and review my play and so we were playing, we played a knockout and we had won, and we were just sitting around the table, the five of us. And I told the story about how you had told me that I should be able to memorize my entire hand in 10 seconds. And we'd played 12 boards. So Michael said, think of one of your hands from the session and tell me like a couple of cards. And he said, any one of the 12 hands that you want, I will give you the cards down to the spot.
Right, exact spot. Yes, because Michael, in 1998, I went to Lille play. I was a novice, by then, and there was a competition of the best declarer play in the world, and there were, I think, 8 or 10 hands. I swear, I had a. I kept saying I was quite good at card playing, okay? Back then, even though I was inexperienced and I know nothing in beating theory, to be honest, those 8 to 10 hands, I had no clue. No clue. And Michael won that contest.
Yeah.
I think he made, I don't know if he made it all, but I think he made the most anyways. That's the first time I ever heard of this name, Michael Rosenberg. I said, wow, is this the guy who could make those hands?
Oh, man.
I wouldn't know how to start. I mean, I can't get one card right, to be honest. Those hands back then.
Wow.
So now you know. Okay? So what I said to you, you take your 13 cards, that's the speed. It's nothing to do with intelligence, nothing, you can definitely manage it within 7 to 8 seconds. It just help you to speed up your read of the cards. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with technique, nothing to do with,
Yeah, I do it, every once in a while, sometimes I don't do it for a long time, but recently I've got like a little sheet here that I've done it.
Yeah, it's like, it will sharpen your mind from time to time. Help your mind to, work. But that's not hard at all, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It just help you to be fast.
Yeah. Barbu's been great for my remembering spot cards, because spot cards are really important in Barbu.
Well, very, very. I mean, if you want to become a top expert, all not only the spot cards, if they are big or not, but also the older you play those cards might imply something. You just have to not only remember your own spot cards, but also you have to watch the your partner's sport cards, and you have to watch the order they played it. So then you will have an idea of what the missing honors are. They all try to give suit preferences from time to time. Not only your partner, but also your opponents. They send each other, like in the old days, moles, DDD. But I'm not saying cheating, but this is not cheating. This is the order of cards.
Yeah,
The way they play their cards, they pass message that you have to be able to read it, and then make your own judgment whether they are telling the truth or they are trying to lie.
Yeah, it's nice when they tell the truth in those situations.
Well, in most of the, I must say, in most of the situations, they are telling the truth because they don't want to fool their own partners. If their partner is, the partner has a useless card, then he will do anything he wants. But if his partner is involved in the judgment, he rather tell you than, including his partner, because he doesn't want to lose the partnership trust, right? The trust in the partnership, which is very important. So I must say, I mostly trust my opponent's carding.
Do you still read bridge books?
Not anymore. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's, I don't know. I don't know why, but maybe I should.
Have you ever started writing one?
No. I'm not. In my opinion, when I start writing one, I'm probably in my retirement already, but I'm not ready to retire yet. I still feel myself competitive.
Yeah.
Time to time, yeah. Why not? I still have the blood to compete in the bridge world. Although I think the chance for me to win the team's championship is very slim. Still, I'd like to work on it. Who knows? Maybe one day. I don't know.
Why do you think it's slim?
It's my dream because this is the, as I just told you, I did not even graduate from my MBA program in the Netherlands. So bridge being the only ability left for me in my lifetime, and it's not time for me to learn anything new anymore. Finito. Right? So if this is the only ability I have left for my life, then I better make it good. That's my belief. At least one day I can tell my kids or my grandkids, hey, your grandfather was pretty good in bridge. That they can be proud of me, hopefully.
I just had an image of who Poon is. I know who he is now. Your new partner. I just saw him in my mind's eye.
Okay.
Your new partner.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you can Google him on the internet. You should be able. There should be some pictures of him.
Yeah, no, but I know who he is now in my mind, so I don't need to.
Yeah. We are training basically on the internet at least twice a week, and play one match against other professional clubs in China as a practice match.
And how are you guys doing in those matches?
It's we are trying to establish our system, build up the partnership trust. I think it goes okay for now. And we have the same beliefs and same, I'm not same, I can't say same, but similar beliefs and similar view of the game. So that we can quickly achieve an agreement. Not only system-wise, but also certain treatments in certain situations. So that's something I like. So I'm already 50. So I don't know how much time left for me. I can play another what? What do you think? 5 years, 10 years? I don't know.
Maybe 1 year.
Maybe 1 year. Telling you frankly, I was asked twice here in the States if I was eligible to play the seniors. Hopefully, one day I will be able to join the seniors. Anyways,
What was it like when you and Fu won the World Pairs?
we went to a pub I remember we immediately ran to a square with a lot of pubs in Verona, and I rang the bell. I did not know that if you ring the bell, you have to buy a round of drink for everybody in that pub. And you know what? I had no money. But somebody covered me. They said, okay, I did not, this boy did not know, you know.
What was it like for you that Barry Westra, your mentor, finished fourth in that event?
What? Playing with
In the
Barry?
World Pairs. No, in the World Pairs that you beat him. He finished fourth.
Well, pairs is not like teams, because pairs event is not convincing if you win in most of the players' mind, because luck takes a big part or bigger part in that game. Although you still have to play well yourself, still you need luck for sure. Okay. The one I won with Kerri, we were like leading by 5 boards. We were ahead of the second, almost 5 boards. That's a convincing win, at the time. But that was mixed pairs. Luck takes big factor in the pairs game. So I still have my dream. I don't know if I will make my dream come true in my lifetime. I want to win the team game. I want to win the Bermuda Bowl. No, maybe I don't have any chance, but Rosenblum, or I don't know, not transnational team, no, Rosenblum or the Olympiad teams, this is still my dream. And hopefully my dream will come true, but I doubt. I have a 99% doubt of it. But I still want to work on it,
You won the Vanderbilt with Fred Chang.
Yeah. We were 5-handed team. Freddie Chan and Gunnar Halber, they were playing with Simon Deutsch, 1 set each, and then they played 2 sets together. And they play no system because they are both rubber bridge players, and so but they do have the same understanding, all these rubber bridge skills. And I had to play with Fu throughout every card because we were 5-handed, as you know how it works. And we were lucky. I don't think we were good enough to win. We were seeded 44th, and we were just lucky. The first 2 matches we won comfortably, and then in the round of 16, after the first 4 boards, we were leading by 60-0. After the first 4 or 5 boards, can you imagine? And we hang on to that was the team of Grand Base at the time, and we hang out to win the match by 8 at the end. So we were lucky, and then we beat the team of Fantuni Nunes by 1 imp, and then we won the next match by 5. And in the semifinal, we were playing the team of Richie Schwartz, and with 1 set to go, we were down 29 imps. And the last set, we were playing against Joe Gru and Curtis Cheek. That's how we became friends. The last set, we sat down, play against these guys, and the score of last set was 69-1. So we ended, and we went to the final, and we had to play against a big team of Roy Wayland with Fadenius and Martel Stansby and Baligi Zmuzinski. And we played 3 sets against Baligi Zmuzinski. And with 1 set to go, we were leading like close to 30. And then I can tell you how tired we were because we did not rest one single set.
Right.
We played every card. And we were so tired that because Baligi Zmuzinski were also heavy smokers. So after every 4 balls, we ran out to smoke. So they counted it on BBO. The final score was 27-25. Cigarette wise, China won. Okay, so one of the hands, it's still being scary because we hang out to win. Okay. However, in one hand, Fu and me located diamond feet. And he asked for key cards, so I beat 5 hearts. Showing, sorry. He asked for key cards, and later he had to beat 5 hearts, asking for the Queen of Trumps. He was aiming for 7. And I beat 6 diamonds. Our agreement was quickly going back to 6 diamonds, denies the queen, but he thought I jumped to 6 diamonds, promising the queen. He forgot his asking bid was 5 hearts. So he beat 7. I was there playing 7 diamonds with ace king empty 6 opposite 3 Lino. And of course they fall 2-2. And that's not enough to make the 7 yet. I was still missing 3 queens. The side queens. I was missing all 3 side queens.
Wow.
I still had to, because the trumps fell in 2-2. I still had to. So the situation was very funny. If I had 3 ways of making it with these 3 queens, I could finish my right hand, which was Baligi, his queen of clubs. I could, that would have been my 13th trick. I could finish Zmuzinski, the queen of hearts, for my 13th trick. And I could play for double squeeze for my 13th trick. And you know what? That board, when diamond fell in 2-2, as I checked later, the queen of hearts was really with Zmuzinski. If I decided to finish him, that would have worked. And the queen of clubs was with Baligi. If I would decided to finish him for the queen of, and if I decided to play double squeeze, it was on as well. So after the trumps fell in 2-2, anything I decided to do was right. There was no way for me to go wrong. And, that's how, when luck comes, you can't refuse it. And at the other table, the opponent stopped in 5 diamonds. They did not even beat 6. But 6 was a good contract. If the diamond did not fall 2-2, then you still have extra chances. So it was like, around 70% 6. Well, as I said, the good Lord was taking care of me in my bridge career. So I was just lucky. I consider myself lucky.
When you won the Reisinger in San Diego, did you, I think it was 2016, was it?
Yeah, I was playing with, we were playing 4-handed. And with one of my regular clients from China, from Shanghai.
And didn't you guys have a substitute play one of the sets?
No. We play 4-handed. 4-handed.
wasn't there something about like somebody wasn't going to be able to make it, and then
No. It was like this. We were playing four-handed,
yeah,
and we did not know the semifinal already started with screens. So the semifinal day, we came in 1 hour later. So we were already an hour late.
yeah,
The people inside semifinal it was, and it
Right.
affects our carryover as well.
yeah,
So they already played 2 rounds. Either we join or we withdraw. So we had a quick discussion outside as a team meeting. I said, everybody said, okay, since we are chanceless, we go. And then we finally decided, if we go, we have nothing to do. So we just play. What the hell? We just play. So the first 6 sports, we start with 6-0. So what? We just have to play and pass the day. We are here to play bridge. We are not here to win. We agreed on that fact at the end. So we went in, thanks to the ACBL directors, that they allowed us to play. Because they could easily throw us out, right? For being an hour late. But we say, okay, we accept 6-0 as a start. And, we just want to kill the day. Why not? And they allowed us to play. Thanks. And it was a big surprise at the end that we qualified, although there was not much carryover. Of course, we couldn't have any because we started with 6-0 in the semifinal. We just wanted to kill the day, and we advanced. That was also lucky, right? That's why I said I feel myself blessed in this game. Okay? That's really a big bless, wasn't it?
yeah,
And you know what? The superstitious sponsor, the client of mine, of that team,
yeah,
he became so superstitious after we won the Reisinger. Started 6-0. That's a true story, okay? That story, and you are the first one to hear it here in the United States. I've never told anybody else. So what happened was, in San Diego, because of the time difference and the weather changes so fast, the whole team got sick. We all have some kind of cold. Okay, we were all having a cold. That was before the Reisinger. We took 3 or 4 days off because during during the Blue Ribbon Pairs time, okay, there was a 3 days break. We did not play any practice match. No, we did not play any practice match because the whole team was sick. We all had a cold, so we rested for 3 days. We stayed in our hotel rooms. And we did not even, we all have a headache, terrible headache, that we did not even want to go to restaurants for dinner. So we went to a 7-Eleven for, quick pizza. 7-Eleven, they have quick pizzas.
yeah.
So we bought 2 pizzas. As we came out of the 7-Eleven, we were walking on the street. And there was this homeless lady lying on the ground or wherever she was sitting, I don't remember. And then we walked by and the lady said, hey, this pizza smells so good. And we just went on, and the client asked me, he said, what did she say? Because he didn't understand English. He asked me, what did she say? She said, this pizza smells so good. He said, really? And why did she say that? I said, she looks like a homeless lady that, she probably smells, she's hungry or whatever. He said, no, stop, let's go back. And we gave the lady one of the pizza, and we went in the 7-Eleven, we bought another one.
Wow.
So we gave the lady 1 pizza. And you know what? after we won the Reisinger, that my client strongly believed that lady was sent by God as a test to us. And winning the Reisinger was a big bonus for doing the right thing. That's a true story. He was in a total big disbelief. And he believed the only reason he could think of that we won the Reisinger, despite our 6-0 in the semifinal, was because of that lady. That we did the right thing.
Wow.
That's a true story. So as I said to you, perhaps really I was blessed throughout my bridge career. So I always consider myself lucky. You like that story?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm serious. That's a true story, and you are the first one here in the United States that I ever tell this story to. But that's a true story. 100% true. I swear to the good Lord.
Yeah, I mean, the Reisinger, that's a nice one to win.
Well, as I said, you need luck from time to time in this game. Somebody out there was, helping me.
I'm surprised that they didn't find like another team to fill the spot when you guys didn't show up from the Swiss or something, like the last place team.
I don't know. It was a semifinal of the Reisinger. You have to qualify from the pre-rounds to play in that semifinal, right? So I don't think they can find any substitute.
I think the last time I saw you at a national might have been at the Reisinger in Honolulu.
No, I think I played one spring as well. I don't remember. I haven't played for the last year and a half.
You remember you bid 3-0 on Jack third? There was like a auction where I doubled showing hearts, and then you showed up to the table. I don't remember who you were playing with. You were playing with a Chinese guy, and I said ni hao.
Must be no. I was playing with in the Reisinger or in the pre.
In the Reisinger in Honolulu.
I was playing with the client. Yes, with that client. Yeah.
And I don't remember what the auction was, but at some point, I think you guys, I don't think I overcalled in hearts. I might have, but I showed hearts somehow, like either a double or something, and you bid 2-0 trump pretty quickly, and your partner raised to 3.
Oh, and you collected the first 5 or 6 hearts? As I said, who cares about stoppers? Right?
But it was great because I got to say the only 2 Chinese words I know in the span of like a couple of minutes, and they were both accurately stated, because I said ni hao, and then after that I said shishie.
We were not doing so well. That's for sure.
Yeah.
After winning the Reisinger and as a defending champion, then sometimes you have higher expectations for your own performance. And, in San Diego, we had no expectations at all. Then, things went surprisingly well. But once you have some expectations, then, things always backfire. Well, as it happens to many other tournaments, right? So nowadays, I learned you just do your best, and as for the outcome, let the good Lord decide. That's my attitude nowadays. I don't know if that is the right one, but I just regret I learned this too late at the age of 50. I should have learned it 30 years or 20 years ago. I only learned it now. I hope it's not too late. As long as you did your best, then you have no regret. That's my...
yeah, that's true.
That's what I believe nowadays.
Who do you think's the best player in the world?
Me? Well, no. I'm saying the best player of the world. No, you are asking me about that.
Yeah.
Um, I think Max draws.
Mm.
In my opinion, Jeff is, standing out.
Mm.
I mean, Jeff Hampson might belong to the top 3 or 5, but Max Stroh, in my mind, is the number 1, in my opinion.
Mm.
Although a lot of other players might not agree, but that's my belief.
Mm. I've been asking people on the podcast if they're better than Jacek Kalita. Are you better than Kalita?
Let me tell you something. It's very in bridge, as I said, bridge is not a game of smart mind or fast calculation or any other high IQ or whatever. No, that's not true. We just talked about that. The difference between bridge players are very, very small, very little. It is hardly to say who is better than who, because you might be better than him in this, but he's better than you in the other.
Yeah.
Okay? It's very hard to say. Bridge is a game of judgment.
Mm.
But I'm sure of one thing, you cannot beat Kalita in ping pong.
He's good at ping pong?
Yeah, he was playing for the Polish juniors.
Ah, okay. Well,
Try to challenge him in ping pong game and remind me about it, please, because I will have my money on him.
so we'll bet $1, me versus Kalita in ping pong.
Well, any amount you want, I will have my money on him for sure.
But we don't, our standard amount is $1, maybe
Okay.
$1.75.
Okay.
If we're really getting rich.
As for bridge player, as I said, you never say who is better than this and that. You might have an idol inside of your mind that, like me, I always think Jeff is a great guy, great player.
Mm.
But I can still beat him from time to time. Why not? So it's hard to say who is better. There's no better in this game. But this partnership might be better than the other because they have better understandings, better communication, better this, better that. That I would say, but not as an individual player. No, this is not the right question for bridge as this game, in my opinion. Especially from the top players of the world, the difference is very small, very small. But as for partnership, yes.
Have you seen the movie AlphaGo or heard of it?
Yeah, I heard of it, the AlphaGo. But, that's not a so-called AI. That AI is not for bridge because bridge, his biggest disadvantage is calculate faster than human beings and never being tired, right? But as for calculate speed, this is useless in this game. Bridge is a game of judgment, as we just discussed, right?
I really want to get those guys to do bridge. DeepMind. I really, I'm going to send them this conversation because
They never beat human beings unless they cheat, because in certain situations, if they immediately exchange cards, of course they know the best line. That they beat human beings, they calculate it faster. But as for judgment, they can never do that because this game is never a game of absolutity. Okay, he might be able to calculate the best line, but the small percentage happens.
Mm.
He might be unlucky, right?
I mean, I've talked to Chris Walenkin about this, and he thinks that computers like AI doesn't have. He's in the same camp as you are, and after watching that movie AlphaGo, I think we would be really unpleasantly surprised if they really pursued bridge for a period of time there.
But the reason, sadly to say, the reason is not because how advanced is bridge, but the opposite.
Mm. And I don't know how they would do it in terms of like partnership. Like, I don't know how they would.
So that also shows comparing to Go or chess or any other things. Bridge is too. These things, those are too way advanced than bridge. Way advanced. Okay, bridge is so simple. So it's mainly a game of communication, and based on that, you make your judgments, and that judgment is not 100% right all the time. So I think the AI cannot be it's not because it's not clever, it's just because I think they need some more humanity that they don't have. They have a great mind for sure. But great mind does not work for this game. You don't have to be a college graduatee to play bridge. You can graduate from an elementary school and you can still play this game pretty well. So it does not require a lot of knowledge. And you don't have to be a mathematician to know the exact probabilities of your lines, right? Let me ask you something, John. What was the percentage? What do you think the exact percentage that you played your last hand? You don't know. You play a 3-note trumps. You think you took the best slide, but I ask you, hey, how many percent do you think that is? I don't think you know.
Right, sure.
I don't know either. I say, okay, this is roughly little over 70, roughly little over 65. You don't know the exact figure. The computer does. The computer does. We don't. But that doesn't help him. Doesn't help the computer in this game. Okay? This game doesn't need that. That kind of accuracy.
Who would win in a game of Go between you and Dunga?
I don't know. 30 years ago, I would beat him for sure because when I first went to my college, I learned Go, and I was a equivalent of amateur one done. Amateur one done, not pro one done, but amateur one done, which is pretty good. I mean, against those new beginners. But I haven't played it for the past 30 years. Anything, if you are out of practice, it's gone. Right? There are only 2 skills that you never forget in your life. One is language. You might lose your vocabulary from time to time, but the basic theory, the basic grammar, you will remember, and you'll still be able to use that language. That is, I don't know why I'm not a biologist. I don't know how our brains work, but language you never forget in your life. Number 2 skill that you never forget in your life is swim. Once you learn swimming, you never forget in your lifetime. You will always be able to swim whenever you jump into the water. There are, I think, other skills you might lose it if you don't practice it in your life. That's maybe I'm wrong. I mean, that's strongly. I mean, these 2 skills you never forget in your life.
Do you know how to swim?
Yes, I do. I mean, I can make myself, although I swim very ugly, but I can swim. Yeah.
Tell us the story about going to Kentucky Fried Chicken for the first time in China.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was back in 1987. So in China, not many people get a chance to join the colleges, because it was free tuition. However, you have to be a good student, that you have to get a high grade in a national so-called SAT. But that in China, that is always one-time thing, not like here in the States. One-time SAT, and that takes, here, SAT might be 40% of your total judgment basic to the college, but in China, that's 100% thing.
Wow.
If you are a good student throughout in that SAT, you do badly, gone. Okay? So I was able to pass that SAT with a quite reasonable high score. And I was accepted by a very good university in my hometown. So as a celebration, I went to Beijing with one of my best friends and his girlfriend to be at the time. Kentucky Fried Chicken newly opened its store in the Tiananmen Square. And so I went. I said, and then they say, oh, this is the fast food and cheap food. You know, I was a poor student, so I said, okay, if this is cheap and fast, I said, okay, listen, guys, I will buy you a meal as a celebration. They said, hey, can we afford it? I said, don't worry, I'm rich. Although I was not, that's for sure. So we went in. I bought 3 meals for the 3 of us. And at the end, I had to pay the bill. It was like 11 yuan at the time. You know how much is 11 yuan? By then, it was like $1.50.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was all I had. And that was already a big amount of money for me. Let me tell you something. My mother's basic salary by then was like $15 a month. I had to pay. You know, I already said to these guys, I'm going to buy you a meal. I could not eat back my words. So I had to pay that $1.50. That was back in 1987. And that was all the money I had in my pocket. And I did not have money to buy a ticket to come back to my hometown. My train ticket. So I could not eat my words, so I bought the meal. And later I said, please borrow me some money. I need to buy the train ticket going back to Tianjin. And the taste was so strange to me. I did not even like it.
Wow.
I remember I bought 2, my meal was fried chicken and smashed potato. Mashed potato.
Yeah.
Mashed potato and one glass of Coca-Cola. And that was the first time ever I had Coca-Cola in my life. The fried chicken was okay. The mashed potato, I find it strange, weird. And the Coca-Cola, I found it disgusting. It was like a coughing medicine to me. It tasted like a coughing medicine.
Wow.
And, you know, I spent so much money. I said, wow, what a great meal. I was complimenting the meal at the end. Deep down in my mind, you know what word came up, okay?
Oh my gosh.
$1.50 in 1987. That, you know, that was a big amount of money. Big. I did not expect to spend that much. Seriously. I thought if this is a cheap restaurant, it must be something like 50 cents for 3 of us. That was already a big meal. Oh my God. You know, it was a lot of stories. You cannot imagine it because I was born and raised in China, and that's a total different country to you.
Yeah.
A lot of things that you might you have never experienced, you have never seen or experienced, or if I may say the word, imagined.
Was it a dream of yours to live in America one day?
May I say yes? However, I quickly gave up the idea because I never thought it was possible. If you have a dream, at least you have something. You want to make a dream that can be true one day, right? You know, despite the fact that it could be a very slim chance, but at least there is a 1% chance, because I always believe from 1% to 100%, it's just a difference of quantity. But from 0 to 1, from 0% to 1%, that's the huge change. Once you have the 1%, then it's just a number adding up, right? But from 0 to 1, that's the biggest step you have to make. So I must say, I did not have the dream to come to the America at the time, because I thought it was totally, how you call it, realistic?
Unrealistic.
Unrealistic, yeah.
Yeah.
It was totally, then I will call myself a daydreamer for sure. Okay, so.
What was the image you had of America when you were younger, that made you want to come here?
When I was younger, America was my biggest enemy in this planet, because we had war against them in Korea, that we saved the Korean people. Then we had a war against them in Vietnam. We saved the Vietnamese people. They are the biggest enemy. And no, never think of it. Anything else, because it will never come true that I ever come and live here in the States. No, not for me at the time. I never dreamed of driving a car one day, because I don't think that's possible. I remember when I was a little kid, when I was 7, 8 years old, the first time I smelled the petrol, not the petrol itself, but the burning petrol that comes out of the truck. I like that smell because I felt it was so strange. But there was a time I was riding on the street, and if there was ever, because there were not so many cars in China on the street, so if there was a truck driving through, I will follow it up, try to catch the smell.
Wow.
Of the petrol. Because for me, if I were able to sit not inside of the driving room of the truck, but even back there, it would have been a big treat to me.
Wow.
That was, because I like the smell. So the life nowadays, when I'm having this, no, I never dreamed of it because I could not imagine it. So this never came in my dream. Okay.
When was the first time you came to the US?
2005, the Chicago Summer Nationals. I was representing China. That was also a painful experience because in the round of 16, I think, we were playing the team of Mike Morse, with Mike Morse was playing with who was he playing? And there was Billy Pollock on his team. So after 64 balls, I think that was the lowest score ever. The final score was 76 to 74 or 77 to 75.
Wow.
We lost by 2. 64 boards, and each side, none of the sides scored more than 80 imps in 64 boards. You can ask Billy Pollock, he still remembers. We became very, very good friends, but he still remember our first time against each other. I think that was the lowest score ever in a Spring Gold match after 64 boards. We lost by 2, and none of the sides scored more than 80 imps. Even then, come and live in the United States was not in my dreams, because I did not imagine it. No. But you never know. I mean, if I tell you America was never in my dreams, you wouldn't believe it. You don't know what type of life I had when I was 7, 8 years old back then, in the mid and late 70s, what China was like. I can tell you days and days, and you wouldn't believe it. I had to go to school, and after school, I came home. The first thing I did was to light up we were burning coals, okay, for our fire, making dinner and everything. The first thing I came home, I was 7, 8 years old. I had to set up the fire, burning coals. That's very dangerous for a 7, 8-year-old boy, right? But I had to do it because my mother will come home at about 7 o'clock, and she had to make dinner fast for the whole family. You know, even riding a bicycle. Having my own bicycle did come to my dream at the time. And it was still luxury to me. My actual dream was to have my own bicycle when I was, like, you know, most of my grown up people around me, they were riding a bicycle. Not many people could afford it back then even. So having my own bicycle did come to my dreams. Having my own car, no, never, because I never thought it would become true.
Do you take it for granted now that you have a car?
I don't know. It just came along naturally, you know, as time went by. I never sit down and really think about it, what I was thinking when I was 7, 8 years old. To be honest, I never thought of it. But as I said previously, I feel myself blessed. I felt myself lucky. I mentioned it because of my bridge career, but as for my own life, I also feel the same way. So I'm a kind of person that I can easily be satisfied.
I think that's a good thing.
I don't know. My life goal is enough. It's never much.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you know the meaning. For me, enough is enough.
Well, thank you for sharing your.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you're still listening, congratulations. It's much appreciated. We love to hear from our listeners. I want to thank a listener who introduced herself to me on Bridge Base. and we've become very good friends. And she helped me to edit this episode. She pointed out some of her favorite parts, and she also suggested that maybe it's not for non-bridge players, but I still hope that the setting trick is something that will be a way for people to learn about this amazing game. And thank you to Jack for sharing his time. All of our previous guests, so many of whom supported me in standing up for racial justice here in the United States. Thanks to Michael Zhu, Brian Goodhart, Nick Glennie Smith, and drop us a line.